the Buddha for almost 45 years in his ministry after his enlightenment at the age of 35, up to his passing away at the age of 80. 45 years, what did he teach? He taught us about the laws of nature. That means to say how natural law works and how we should learn the laws of nature and then live in accordance to the laws of nature. If you live in accordance with the laws of nature, then you'll be free from the repercussions and the resultants of the force of nature. But if you go against the force of nature, then you also face the same wrath and consequences. So basically, if we talk about karma, karma is actually the law of action and reaction. And you talk about karma, then you talk about energies. And when you talk about energies, you talk about ourself, which is a combination of two forms of energy. And what is the two forms of energy that makes us up? It's called the mind and the body. In Buddhism, we call the mind nama and the body rupa. So nama and rupa, which means you are a combination of mind and matter. Mind is a form of energy. It's a mental energy that is actually working inside this physical form called our bodies. And basically, you can't pinpoint where exactly is the mind. Is the mind here? Is the mind here? Is the mind here? Is the mind here? The mind is where you focus. The mind is where you direct the attention. So if you are focusing on the brain, then the mind is in the brain. If you are focusing on your breathing, then your mind is on your breathing. If you are focusing on your sitting, then your mind is on the sitting, feeling of your bottoms touching the cushion. Then your mind is there. So it's where you direct. And these two forms of energy react with each other for a certain period of time. And then there will come an expiry date. And this expiry date will happen when you are 80, 90, some shorter. And there will be a separation. So the mind will then ceases because the body cannot support. So the body will then cease to be what you call active. The heart stops, the blood stops, the organ stops. It can no longer support the energy of the mind. Then the mind will then have to transcend out and find itself for another physical matter or form and recombine again. And that is called rebirth. 輪迴啦. You born again. I always like to use this example of the body, which is the electric bulb. For those who have not heard before, for those of you who have heard it before, revision time. Our body is like the electrical bulb. The electrical bulb is dark. But the moment you put in the electricity or the current, together with the bulb becomes lighted up. And therefore, you have a combination of bulb and electricity. The bulb is your body, the electric current is your mind. And when these two combine with each other, it gets lighted up and becomes alive. Like all phenomena of impermanence, the bulb one day will fuse. It has an expiry date, 10,000 hours or maybe less. So the bulb cannot support and cannot get lighted up anymore. But is that the end of the electricity or the current? As long as the current have voltage and amperes, that means there is a potential difference. Voltage is actually PD. PD is potential difference, if you study science, right? So if there is a potential difference, pushing it, manifesting in up and down, rise and fall into a frequency, then that electricity continues. It's not the end of the electricity. It will then move on and finds another bulb, a new physical form, goes in, recombine, become. That means join again, and thus create another bulb and electricity, and gets lighted up again. So same thing like our physical form. One day when we expire, our body cannot support, all deteriorated until it is no longer working. Then the mind will be transmitted out in search, depending on the frequencies. Like I mentioned to you, it is the potential difference. And that frequency will depend on how you react at that last moment. Happy? Happy frequency. Not happy? Unhappy frequency. And there are these realms of physical form where it is waiting for a combination. And when that combination takes place, and the frequency goes connected with this physical form, the mind and the matter then starts to become again. That means reborn. And thus continues in another episode of life. And that is our theory of rebirth. So basically what I'm trying to explain, without going any further about the actual workings and how we control it, we are talking that these are two forms of energy. And the most important form of energy now currently, in your pursuits to try and pacify, is actually the mind. How you control your mind, how you condition your mind, and how you make your mind behave in the way that should be good and positive, so that it will then have what we call a tendency to become good frequencies. And when you have good, happy frequencies, and you manifest in the new realm later on, that new realm will be a happy realm. And that's how you determine where you want to be born. You determine where is your next destination. You determine where you recombine again. So it is important that we condition this mind. It is important that we calm down this mind. We said that this mind is like an electric current. It has a potential. And this potential has caused what we call a frequency. Up, down, up, down. Rising, falling, rising, falling. Each fall conditions the next rise. Each rise conditions the next fall. For every fall there will be a rise. For every rise there will be a fall. And it continues until you put a stop to that potential, that difference. We at the moment find it difficult to control because our mind keeps on generating, keeps on creating under what we call cetana. Now, explain what is cetana. Our mind is a form of energy that exists in four faculties. Four faculties. Consciousness. I'm alive. I'm here. I'm in Bandar, Uttama. I'm aware that I'm walking here, talking. So therefore you are conscious. Then you recognize, oh, this place is Bandar Utama. And the person in front of you is Chia. Perception, recognition. Then how do you feel? You feel good, you feel pleasant, you feel happy, and that's called Vedana. Vedana is feelings. Consciousness, perception, feelings. These are three faculties. But these three faculties doesn't create karmas. It is just that you are conscious and you recognize and you feel good. It don't get any action or any reaction. But the fourth faculty of the mind is the culprit. That culprit is called cetana, or volitional thinking, or creative thinking. You stand here, you are conscious. Then you recognize, oh, this brother so-and-so, sister so-and-so. You feel happy to meet. You are overjoyed. Then the last faculty say, hey, why not go there and tap him on the shoulder? Why not go to him and give him a slap because I don't like him? That thought in the mind is a cetana. It's a thinking and the creation within your mind to say, go there and give an action. You have created an action. Whenever you create an action, there will be a reaction. This is the general natural law. That's why we say the law of karma is actually a natural law. Whether you like it or not, it exists. And because you have created a potential that when this person gets slapped, oh, why you slap me? Who are you to slap me? And now I must slap you back. The potential to react on you. Basically, if you don't create that action, then you are neutral. You don't get any reaction. You do a good action, then you create a potential for a good resultant. If you do bad action, then you get a potential to have a bad resultant. So therefore, for every creativity of a mind, you are propelling this mind, you are disturbing this mind, you are creating the frequency. When the thought arises and says, I'm angry, I want to go and slap him. Oh, that mind goes like this. That means the frequency goes up and down. There's energy like your radio frequency, you know. Like when you go to the hospital and check your heart. The electrocardiogram will practically shows you. In other words, you're excited, you are angry, you are very, agitated. But if you are calm and peaceful, what happens to that frequency? You then slow it down. And as you slow it down, then your heart becomes bada-boop, bada-bap, bada-boop, bada-bap. You are calming it down. You are controlling it. You are pacifying it. And you are conditioning it. And that's why we want to calm down this mind. And this mind must become sufficiently to give us that blissfulness of mind, that peacefulness of mind, and the happiness of the mind. And that is the formula. And that is how it works. Our mind, when it gets agitated, it will keep on churning. Imagine you have a goldfish bowl of water. This goldfish bowl of water is very murky, very dirty, a lot of sediments. And you can't see through because you are blocked. And you take a stick and you put inside the goldfish bowl and you turn clockwise. And you keep on turning clockwise until you take the stick out. Does the water stop turning? The water continues to churn and turn clockwise. Why does the water turn clockwise and keep on turning clockwise? Because there is a momentum, there is an inertia, an energy and a potential that you contributed towards it. You add on towards it, and eventually it continues to turn because of that energy that you have input, and the output is turning clockwise. You take a stick again, and you put in, and now you turn anti-clockwise. While it's turning clockwise, you now put in and turn anti-clockwise. Now the water at initial stage was topsy-turvy. Do not know whether to turn clockwise or turn anti-clockwise. Until which one is dominant. And when that energy is dominant or momentum is dominant, then it will start to, when it's clockwise, then it starts to churn, and then after that it follows its dominant energy. And then you turn it anti-clockwise. And that's how our mind works. Our mind can be unhappy. Our mind can be in what you call agitation. Our mind can be very remorseful and desperate. And that was dominant at that point in time. But can you change it? Can you now create an action or put a thought or a speech or an action to now turn the other way into a positive mode and says, let me be positive. Let me remember only happy things. Let me remember to do good. And when that energy is contributed and inputted inside, then you are actually turning the momentum back. And when it's dominant after that, then you will dwell in a mind which is positive and which is actually peaceful, happy. And where is your bad energies? Your bad energies has been dominated. But we all know that principle called energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Again, this is a natural law, right? You cannot create energy, and you cannot destroy energy, but you can transform energy. This whole universe that we lived in, if you look at that 9 parts, we will be talking about the creation. This whole universe that we lived in is actually a big mess of energy. And that's why Albert Einstein says, this is the mess that we are going to transform. And this mess of energy can neither be created nor destroyed. And it is pulsating. Pulsating means expansion and contraction. Like our heart. Gedeboop, bedebab, bedeboop, bedebab. Like our lungs. Breathe in, expand. Breathe out, contracts. Like our thoughts. Rising and falling. Appear, disappear. But when it disappears, it's not the end. That potential will then push us another new thought to arise. Like the waves in the ocean. When you see the waves in the ocean, when the waves goes up and reaches its climax or its crest, it will then have to subside. But on its subsidence of that wave, that momentum will then push us a new wave to arise. Paticca Samuppada, the law of dependent origination. For every arising, there is a previous arising. For every origin, there will be a previous origin. That means, For this all phenomena to arise, it owes its existence to the previous phenomena. Because you are a continuity from the previous phenomena. And because of that previous phenomena and the momentum that it has, it then forms this new phenomena. So for every birth, you owe your existence to the previous birth. And there is a continuity. And this birth, if you don't seize yet the potential, then this birth will then generate and create the next birth, and the next birth, and the next birth. And you are always caught in this born and die, born and die. We call it samsara. You understand this? I'm explaining it very simple. But if you liat bokyu still, that means not ready yet. So therefore, when you understand this, then you understand the workings of our mind. And this mind is a rising and falling mind. This mind is a grasping mind. Grasp. Someone comes and approaches you and says, "Hey, you look stupid, you know." Wow, betahan. You get angry. Then you tell yourself, what right has he to call me stupid? Who do you think he is to call me stupid? And why did he have to call me stupid? Or really am I stupid? The frequency starts to react. You get agitated. You get angry. You get hateful. And you want to do something about it. That leads to another action. And that action leads to another resultant. And that potential will then be created. Because it is a conditioning of the mind now. You are conditioning this mind towards that direction. Our mind is a grasping mind. So therefore, whenever you have a thought that arises in the mind grabs it. And there is this long habit of grasping, because you have not learned how to release it. You have not learned how to let it go. You have not learned how to 放开. So therefore, that stubborn mannerism will keep on holding something. And that's why you call simpan dendam dalam hati. Right? So when you grasp, are you in a state of tension? Are you in a state of stress? Are you in a state of pressure and uncomfortableness or discomfort? And that is all the trouble. And that is why we say we are all living in stress. What is the cause of stress? It can be caused by many things. Caused by money, caused by possessions, caused by attachments, caused by desires. And because of all these cravings, these are the potential that is being created, like a potential momentum that keeps on desiring, keeps on craving. And that's why we say the potential that caused you to be born again is none other than tanha. Tanha means craving. Bhava tanha, craving to exist. You don't want to die. You want to live forever. If immortal, better still. 做仙呐. Or, like the emperor of China, he wants to find a pill of immortality, a 仙丹, so that he can brawl it and eventually consume it and then live forever and ever. Did he succeed? No, because Chang'e eat it. Chang'e stole it and eat it because he said, if my husband, the emperor, which is very cruel, were to consume this immortality pill, then my husband will continue to torture the Paisin or the people. Therefore, to prevent the husband from consuming it, she consumed it and float up to the moon. That's why Chang'e is in the moon. Of course, with the rabbit lah. What is she doing down there? Pounding. What is the rabbit doing? Pounding and pounding. Pounding what? Another pill of immortality. So that when you worship Chang'e on the mooncake festival, then Chang'e will give you the pill. And you will live forever and ever. And you will be immortal. And that's what you want. Bhava Tangha. Correct or not? How many of you want to die? Put up your hands. The moment you are nearing death, how miserable you are, isn't it? You feel that you should be continue living, although you are 85 already, still want to live some more. 90 also still want to hold on. 100, of course, I know who is 100 lah. Still come one key, still want to hold on. When it come time to come for us to live, let go lah. And then go to another episode lah. After it's not the end. So because of that bhava tangha, when you are about to die, your mind is never at ease. Your mind is never calm. Your mind is never at peace. And that's the reason why you are born again. And you face the same dukkha, unsatisfactoriness of life. The second tangha is called bhava tangha. That means you crave to die. You crave to cease to exist. Reason is because you want to end this suffering. You cannot bear with it anymore. You are in very deep pain. How nice if I can end this life. Or you want to commit suicide. But how many people commit suicide with a smile on his face? 我要死了，再见，我要自杀了，再见啊。He'll be crying, lamenting, remorseful, angry, desperate, frustrated. That negativity is in the mind. Is the mind calm? Is the mind peaceful? Is the mind happy? Oh, sorry. That potential will then lead you to another existence. 又来了. You face your birth and you face another life again. Kama tangha, the third type of craving. Kama tangha means attachment to your sense doors. Attachment to your sense door means you try to please your sense door. Your eye, your smell, your taste, your hearing, and your touch, your 5 sense doors. With the mind as the base. Of course, sometimes the mind acts as a 6th sense, number 6. But the mind is actually the base. The rest of the senses are doors. They don't decide. So which means to say, when you see a beautiful object or a pleasant object through the eye, and the eye sees it, but the eye can only pass the message to the mind. And the mind says, wow, beautiful. See some more, see some more. So your eyes open wider to see some more. You move forward to see some more. Somebody at the door say, want to see some more, pay money please. Why? Because you crave to see some more. The more you see, the more you want to see, the more you want to see, the more you want to see. And there's never a limit to that desire to see some more. And that is called tan or greed. An evil root that arises in our mind because we want to satisfy ourselves, but we are never satisfied. Maybe momentarily, but you are never satisfied. So therefore you keep on wanting to see some more, to please this sense door. But sometimes you see a very unpleasant and ugly object, which you do not want to see some more. Please go away, get out of my sight. But it doesn't. It has every right to remain there. Let you see. And the mind becomes agitated. The mind becomes angry. The mind becomes hateful. It develops into hen. That means hatred. Is it a satisfactory state of mind? No. But sometimes you have a pleasant, beautiful object and an unpleasant, ugly object. Both come same time. Ayo, don't know to see some more or not to see some more. Don't know to do or not to do. Don't know to go or not to go. Don't know to move forward or not. You are in a state of confusion, delusion, fun now. And is it a satisfactory state of mind? So every time our mind dwells in these cravings, especially the karma tangha, any of this, momentarily you are happy, yes, but it's a very fleeting one. And then it ceases. When the object that you cling on changes from one form to another. Because you do not understand the phenomena of change. Anicca, anatta, dukkha. You don't see the characteristics. You never realize the characteristics. That all phenomena are subjected to change. And it has to change. Don't cling on to an unchanging entity. You are going to be disappointed. Anicca, change. Anatta, non-change entity. Dukkha, when you are attached to a non-change entity, you are going to be disappointed. So whenever you are attached to a phenomena and you don't realize its characteristics, your mind will always be confused, angry, and unhappy. So therefore, when you realize that these are changing, therefore you say, I do not want to get attached. I'm willing to let it go. Free yourself from that mind, your mind from that object. Then the mind becomes no more grasping. You don't grasp. You don't crave. You releases the potential to crave. And as you keep on releasing, that becomes a conditioning. And when more you condition, the more you let go, the more calmness and peacefulness then arise in your minds. And when that state of mind becomes better and better, you become more happy and blissful. You become more calm and says, I'm free, I'm liberated. Until one fine day, you says, I no longer crave for existence because I know what existence is all about. It is another form of impermanence. I don't crave for non-existence because there's nothing for me to get unhappy and unduly disturbed. And I'm prepared to face it and let it go. I don't crave for my sense door because my sense door only gives momentarily happiness. Fleeting happiness. It doesn't last because it changes. And therefore I change my attachments of my sense doors, of pleasing my eyes, pleasing my smell, pleasing my taste, pleasing my touch. And when that mind slowly ceases from craving, until one fine day, you come to the understanding that all phenomena is anicca, anatta, dukkha. There's no permanency in that. There's nothing for me to arrest. There's nothing for me to hold or to attach to. Released it. And that is called the cessation of craving. When that tangha or potential is no longer in that mind and you are totally liberated from that tangha, that is called an enlightened mind. You feel light, you feel free, and you feel liberated. And if you passed away in that life with that kind of mind, that kind of attitude, that kind of release, you will no longer have that craving or that potential or that current voltage to go and attach itself to another bulk, to another matter or form or another body or another realm. Then you cease to become. you cease to combine between the mind and the matter. Cease, no, ni, become, vana, born again. You cease to become nirvana. And that is the meaning of nirvana. Is it a place? Is it a place up there where a lotus flower is waiting for you? Are you existing anymore? Do you manifest as mental energy anymore? Because the mental energy is held together by the current. If the electricity has no more voltage and no more amperes, and that frequency ceases, very calm, very, very calm, very, very calm, until straight line. Straight line means no more frequency. No more frequency can any radio receive you. You cease to combine. And that is called Nibbana or Nirvana. Then where did I go? You mean no more? I disappear from this universe? Hey, scared or not? If you are still scared, then never mind, you continue to exist. You will still be here. Because you have not attained cessation of craving. Bhava tanha is still there. You want to exist some more. So you will continue to exist. But what happened to the energy? Remember we will say, the energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It only transforms from one form to another. If you don't manifest as mental energy, then you transform into light. You transform into heat. You transform into water. You transform into wind. And these are all natural energies that don't combine with another matter to create another birth. And thus the cessation of birth and death. And that's what the Buddha was trying to find out, isn't it? For 45 long years, he tried to find an answer to cease from birth so that you have no more old age, sickness and death. 生老病死，有生就有老，有生就有病，有生就有死。But 没有生，不生就不死，不病不老，无老无病无死。So which means to say that the Buddha gained enlightenment, ceasing from craving and attaining the nirvana, no more become. The Buddha has what we call ceased to manifest as an entity of mind and matter conforming to that entity. So, semua ini senang cakap tapi susah bawa. That's why the Four Noble Truths. First, you are suffering, dukkha. You are unhappy. You are disappointed. You are very dissatisfied. Are you? Yes. Second Noble Truth. What was the cause of that unsatisfactoriness? Craving. Do you know that? Because you are attached to please your sense door. You are attached to exist. You are attached not to exist. And because of that craving, because of your attachment to your sense door, you create greed, hatred and delusion. 贪恨烦恼 will always arise in the mind. And that gives you all the unsatisfactoriness in life. If you don't have greed, no unsatisfactoriness. If you don't have hatred, no unsatisfactoriness. If you don't have delusion, there's no unsatisfactoriness. So therefore, the cessation of dukkha, now that you realize that this was the cause, is to cease from craving. Stop craving or reduce craving. Bit by bit, Sedikit-sedikit, lama-lama jadi bukit. That means in installments, as you practice along your lives, reduce the attachment, reduce the craving. You cannot throw your TV straight away into the river. Throw your Mercedes into the sea. Can continue driving. But if the Mercedes get knocked, don't get angry. If the Mercedes grow old, don't be unhappy. Can you do that? If you are doing that, then you have actually start to release, start to detach. And that is daily living and daily calming of the minds. And as you do that, slowly, slowly as the craving ceases, then that will be the cessation. And when there is a cessation, that will be the cessation of the cause of dukkha. Dukkha, the cause of dukkha, the cessation of the cause of dukkha. But what is the fourth noble truth? The fourth noble truth is the path leading to the cessation of the arising of dukkha. So this is a formula. The formula which the Buddha realized and found out and eventually shared with us is that whenever you are unhappy, whenever you are disappointed in life, whenever you have depression and very agitations and unhappiness, try to use this formula. First, are you unhappy? Yeah. I'm very disappointed with this, I'm very unhappy with this, I'm not satisfied with this. I want this to happen, but it doesn't. I expect this to become this, but it didn't become. I want my son to be a great doctor, but he's become a teacher. I want to be a millionaire in 40 years old, but I only have a millionaire. I commit suicide after that. But the question is, the moment you realize that all these are the arising, the cause, then you say, okay, let me start to let go. If I can be a half a millionaire instead of a millionaire, I am contented. I'm happy with what I have achieved. And I'm proud of the $500,000. Why? Because other people also cannot get $500,000. I got $500,000. Although I don't get 1 million, at least I get $500,000. So the positivity of the mind becomes better, isn't it? A bottle of water which is half full. Is it half full or half empty? Which do you think? It's the same, the level. But if you think it as half full, then you're positive. But if you think of it as half empty, then you are negative. So it's a question of how we condition our minds to have that positivity, to look at it from a very positive side, and thus be able to overcome that craving. And all this needs a path, a methodology, and a training. And that's why we engage ourselves in the Noble Eightfold Path, which is the fourth noble truth. Right understanding, right thought, right speech, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration, and right livelihood. And therefore we train our mind, train ourselves day by day, reducing and reducing, practicing this Noble Eightfold Path until one fine day, we are then able in our meditative postures, be able to discern the rising and the falling. And that's why we are watching our breath. When you meditate and you sit quietly and then you close your eyes and you watch your breathing. Enlightened already? But yet, some people sit down for hours. Some people sit down for months. Some people sit down for years. Still not enlightened. Until one fine day, you are then able to see, yes, I'm breathing in. Hey, I'm breathing out. Hey, because I breathe out, that's why I breathe in. Hey, because I breathe in, that's why I breathe out. For every breathing in, there will be a breathing out. For every breathing out, there will be a breathing in. When you breathe out, you breathe in. When you breathe in, you breathe out. And it continues and continues and continues. Nobody breathes in without breathing out. Try it and see. Therefore, we then realize there's no permanent breathing in. And there's no permanent breathing out. And if you're attached to a permanent breathing in and a permanent breathing out, oh, dukkha, man. Isn't it? Your body will burst. You will be, that is, what they call unsatisfactoriness. That is called dukkha. Then you came to that realization that this phenomena that I'm experiencing is actually anicca, anatta, dukkha. Correct? No? Breathing in, changing to breathing out. Breathing out, changing to breathing in. And it keep on changing. Is there a permanent breathing in? Is there a permanent breathing out? Therefore, there's no permanentness about it. Anatta. And if you're attached to a permanent breathing in and breathing out, that means you're attached to a non-changing entity of phenomena, you are going to suffer and disappoint yourself. And when you realize that this is the characteristics of all phenomena, including even this universe that we are living in, including this solar system that we are in, including this planet that we lived in, they are subjected to change, including this body that we have. One fine day, it will change from a young person to an old person, change from a healthy person to a sick person, and change from a person who is alive eventually into a corpse which is no longer living. These changes are inevitable. It is part and parcel of the laws of nature. And when that happens, you are going to be disappointed. So therefore, by able to train our mind in this manner, then we will be able to resolve these problems and these issues once and for all. But meantime, practice slowly and diligently. So therefore, we say that when you have stress currently in this life, don't worry, this is part and parcel. It's part of the experiencing of the changes that is happening in your life. It's part and parcel of the attachment to changing phenomena and thinking that we can be happy by grasping on this. But unfortunately, we never realize that it is not permanent. Anger is also an unchanging entity. Anger arises as a part of our emotions. It's because we never know how to allow ourselves to accept the changes that is taking place. Anger management is actually very important here. A lot of us get angry very easily. But why are we angry? Because we expect certain things. We want certain things to happen. And we want certain people to say the right things. But unfortunately, they didn't. Therefore, we become angry. We become hateful. It's part of the greed, hatred, and delusion. Hatred, greed, jealousy, ill will. Now, what are the opposites? Stress-free, loving kindness, compassion, generosity, mudita or altruistic joy, and goodwill. This is part and parcel of our training. Dwell our minds in these positive qualities. It reduces the stress, anger, hatred, greed, and so it's just like an antidote. It tends to sort of controls what our thinking process will be. Again, we are all caught in what we call a rat race, isn't it? Rat race is because we compare. We want to compare with our neighbors. We want to compare with our siblings. We want to compare with our colleagues and our friends, that if he is richer than me, I am unhappy. Why can't I be as rich as him? Or why can't I be richer than him or her? you become unhappy. So the moment you start to compare, that leads to disappointment. So the pursuit of real happiness is the abandonment of the attachment that gives rise to fleeting happiness. What we are looking for is actually real happiness. Happiness that lasts. Happiness that continues. Rather than be attached to particular items or phenomena. And the most important thing to be able to calm down our mind is called living in the present. The question asked, of course, is when you dwell in your past and when you dwell in the coming future and when you dwell in the present moment, they are all three different scenarios. There is never any other time than now, because all else is an illusion, because the time has passed and the future is yet to come. So it's not within your grasp. It's not within your control. It's what you are doing now that is within your grasp and within your control. And it's very important to understand this. So living in the present moment means letting go of your past and not wanting for the future. It means living your life consciously, aware that each moment you breathe is a gift. You are able to sit here today, free from going into the labor market and working on Sundays. Oh, how fortunate you are. Live for this moment. Enjoy this moment. You are able to be in this Buddhist center, to be able to listen to the Dhamma and able to understand life a little bit better. Enjoy this moment. Live for this moment. And it's very important. So the present moment is all that exists. Because why? The past is gone. And the future has yet to come. What is past? Can you still control it? What is coming in the future? Which you expect things to happen. But can you control it? But what you do in the present moment justify your past and prepare you for your future. Isn't that true? Which means to say, if I want to be happy, let me be happy now. Let me be peaceful now. Let me be calm. And this calmness and this peacefulness and this frequency that is evolving in my mind will then push us up the next thought and the next moment of my life, continuing the same frequency, continuing the same picture, and continuing the same emotions and happiness. So it is important that if we want to maintain our calmness, we then have to live in the present moment. So let me move fast enough to go to the next one, because all these are in the sutta. And the Buddha says, do not stay in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate on the present moment. Because living in the now is the truest path to happiness and to enlightenment. Now, in our training of our mind, the best methodology is actually mindfulness and concentration. These are the two types of meditation. Concentration develops what we call one-pointedness. That means focus on your mind on one object and nothing else. If you are on breathing, focus on breathing. If you are on an object, using it as an object for your concentration, on that object and nothing else. Don't allow your mind to what you call wander out of it. Mindfulness is be aware of where your mind is. Be aware, be mindful. That means, where is my mind now? Because we say there are 4 bases, satipatthana. 4 bases where your mind can be. and be aware of which base is your mind. Is it in kaya nupassana? Body? Feelings of the body? I'm sitting down and I'm watching my body, breathing in, breathing out. I'm raising my hand, scratching my face. And that is called kaya nupassana. Then the other one is called Vedana nupassana. Vedana nupassana means aware of your feelings. Oh, I'm feeling calm, I'm feeling peaceful, I'm feeling cool, I can feel the brush of the wind or the aircon, and I'm feeling refreshed and cool. Vedana nupassana. Your mind is on that and nothing else. Then the third base is called Chitta nupassana, which is on the thought that arises. And as we watched, sometimes our mind comes up with a thought. Oh, color orange. Suddenly that orange thought arises in the mind. And you're aware that you are thinking of the color orange. You're mindful of the color orange. And you watch the color orange. And that's called Chitta. The fourth is Dhamma-inspired. Dhamma-inspired means how you develop from that thought of orange into a story, into a creation. Orange. Oh, that's the color of the robe of a monk. Ah, the monks is coming on Thursday or Wednesday, Tuesday. Oh, I must come and do dana. Oh, I must go and buy marketing on Tuesday. Oh, I must go and withdraw money from the ATM because no money. Oh, ATM, this person never give me a check. Yeah, I cannot cash. Oh, that person always give me check late. Hello, how do you end up from orange right up to the person? But understanding our mind is like a tape recorder. It can move forward and it can move backward. Then you recollect. Why was I thinking of that man? Oh, because he checked. Why was I thinking of the check? Because ATM. Why was I thinking of ATM? Because I withdraw money. Why was I thinking of withdrawal money? I was actually wanting to go marketing. Why do I think of marketing? Because I want to do dana. Why do I do dana? Because coming the monks. Or why do you think of the monks? Orange. And that's how we recollect. Our mind can reconnection and pre-connection. That means you can move backwards and you can move forward. And sometimes this quality of a mind you don't realize. That you're able to see things that is coming in the future. The momentum and the projections that you can. But you don't recognize it. But sometimes you can recollect back. Even until to the point where you cross that threshold between this life and the previous life. And you recollect your previous birth. And you see people whom you have never met in this life before. And the face appears so evidently, so clearly. And you say, who is this? I've never seen him before in this life. So this is how our mind works. So therefore, when your mind is in these four bases, then you are mindful of what your mind is thinking. And I always say that concentration is like a chair and a monkey. You take a monkey, you catch the monkey, and you put him on the chair. And you say, monkey, sit. Of course, the monkey listen to you lah. Go there, go, sit. How long? 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, boom, disappear. It's like when we do our meditation, you know. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Ayo, this morning I came out from the house too fast. Oh, the tap is running. Ayo, I was washing my clothes just now halfway. You know? Hello. You should be on breathing in, breathing out. And not on the, what do you call, washing clothes and some other chores that you are doing or some other thoughts that you are. So therefore, stop, noting, bring it back. And continue breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. It's like the monkey. After 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, then what do? You catch the monkey again and you put the monkey back. Sit, don't run away, sit. And the monkeys now sit. Maybe 2 minutes and run away again. After that, 3 minutes, run away. 5 minutes, run away. 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, without leaving the chair. Ayyo, very good. Your monkey, very good. So that is why you develop concentration. When your mind is concentrated, the byproduct is blissfulness. It's calmness. It's a sense of what you call a rapture of very pleasant bliss. Of course, sometimes we call this jhanas. Jhanas is when you reach a certain level of concentration. You rapture into a very blissful feeling. But because you enjoy it so much, you forget to meditate already. Hello, come back. That's why we say you get disturbed when you have too much concentration and then too much jhanas and too much attention to jhana, which is actually attached to your concentration. It's not permanent, and therefore it will disappear. And when it disappears and subside, you get disappointed. Now, mindfulness is 4 chair, the 4 base. You take the monkey, you throw it inside that circle where the 4 chairs is. Now the monkey has to jump from chair to chair. So now where are you, monkey? Which chair are you? Citta-nupassana. Which chair are you? Dhamma-nupassana. Which chair are you? Kaya-nupassana. Which chair are you? Vedana-nupassana. So you'll be mindful. Where is my monkey? And that is creating a mindfulness of awareness and alertness in your mind. But all this will then eventually leads you to what we call vipassana. Now, what do you mean by vipassana? Vipassana means insight, realization. What do you realize from this exercise? Like I said, when you're breathing in, breathing out, suddenly you realize the phenomena is anicca, anatta, dukkha. When you realize they're jumping from one form to another, you realize that they never remain permanently in one place. It can go from place to place. It changes. And therefore, there is no permanency. There is keep on changing. And if you're attached to one particular condition or phenomena, you are going to be disappointed. Then you realize the characteristics of all phenomena. And then you get what we call enlightenment. Enlightenment means realization of anicca, anatta, dukkha. Now we realize, but it never holds. It is not total. Until we can have total realization, then that is called enlightenment. So let me go into the living in the present. Okay, now when you sit and you meditate, or when you are mindful, and people say, how do I meditate? How shall I start? What is the what you call the key that can lead me into meditation? Very simple. Where am I now? When you're sitting, what are you doing now? What am I doing now? Oh, I'm watching my breath. So keep on watching. What am I doing now? I am watching my breath. When you are in your daily life, what am I doing now? I am giving a talk. I'm sitting down listening to a talk. I'm walking on the street. I'm talking to my customer. I am explaining to my students. You become aware of what are you doing now. That is the training that we start off. And basically it's very simple. You don't have to have one corner to do that. You are actually doing every moment of your time. What am I doing now? You are aware, you are mindful, and you are focused, you are concentrated. You are practicing what we call right mindfulness and right concentration. So therefore, calming of the mind is that when you are living in the present moment, and you what you call be aware that I am breathing in, breathing out, and breathing in, breathing out. And in that concentration, the mind slowly subsides. It's like you now no longer put the stick into the goldfish bowl. Initially, every time, every moment you put the stick in. Bukang jo, not nothing to do. You must take the stick and turn clockwise, turn anti-clockwise, turn clockwise, turn anti-clockwise. And the water keep on turning. So that momentum never stops. Until one day, you says, let me stop turning and be still. Still our mind. Don't, what you call, go all over the place. Let me subside into stillness. And this is a very famous slogan of Thich Nhat Hanh practice. As you still your mind, it's like stopping any more further action. And no more putting the stick there. And now, as the energy and the momentum slowly subside, because there's no more addition, energy put inside. So it will come to its balanced state. And then eventually it stops turning, because there's no more stick turning it. And when it stops turning, the sediments will then slowly settles and subside to the bottom. And as the sediment settles, the water now becomes less murkier. It becomes clearer and clearer and clearer, until now you can see through what is on the other side. That gives you a clear mind. That gives you a calm and peaceful mind. Then you are able to see things as they really are. You are able to see the truth as the absolute truth and no longer the conventional truth. Because right now we are all looking at conventional truth. We have not been able to see the absolute truth. An example of conventional truth and absolute truth. I'm doing my walking meditation. I'm lifting my leg and I'm moving forward and I'm stepping. I'm lifting my right leg, lifting, and I'm stepping. And you are watchful for every step. And you walk up and down this hall in what we call walking meditation. This girl was walking up and down very diligently. He was walking up and down, up, down. Wow, good. But suddenly collapsed. Kneeled down and started crying. And when she cried, the teacher came and says, what did you experience? He said, as I was walking up and down, I was watching my leg, lifting, stepping, lifting. And as it walked up and down, it becomes so conditional that as if I'm floating up and floating down. I'm moving like a float and floating up and down. And suddenly I realized that, hey, I'm not walking. I'm floating. And because I'm floating, I lost the use of my legs. I'm no longer walking. I'm no longer using my legs. And the legs is of no use to me anymore. And she became fearful. She became scared. So the teacher says, okay, calm down. What you are watching is that the conventional truth is that you must use your leg to walk up and down. But the absolute truth is wind. Wind is motion. And it is a motion that you are feeling. And this motion is floating up and down. And you don't use the leg to move in motion actually. And it's actually what we call the four elements of earth, water, wind, and fire. And you are experiencing the motion of your body. Remember, I was saying that the body is another form of energy. Right? And what is the body comprised of? Earth, water, wind, fire. And these four elements must balance. If don't balance, you are not at ease. So you become disease. Disease comes from the word non-balancing of the elements. And Chinese traditional medicine compared with modern Western medicine is that Chinese medicine is whenever a person is sick, your four elements is not balanced. Either you hold Yehya, Yao Feng, or Lampong, water retention, or Tai Fei, too much earth. And because of this, you are not balanced. So you have more fire inside you. More fire means how? Put out the fire. That means you have to add certain herbs to add the water element. And you notice that in what they call the feng shui charts, where you say the earth will then suppress the, what do you call, the wind, the water will then support the earth, and this is how the combination works out. So as long as these four elements are balanced, then you are back to ease. And when you are back to ease, this physical form will then cure by itself. You don't need external fighters. You have own antibodies. And your body has self-healing properties. It can heal by itself, provided you allow it to do so. And that's why this was a philosophy of treating cancer patients in certain, what you call, alternative medicine. And of course, when the traditional Chinese doctor says, okay, this is what we give to you, or the herbs. The herbs is not to fight the bacteria. The herbs is to balance up the four elements. And these are the four elements. And we are actually a concept of these four elements in our physical form. And therefore, when you're moving up and down, you're actually having the wind element. And when you're having the wind element, you don't need legs to move. Think of London, you are in London. Isn't it? Think of a home, you are now at home. Where is your mind? Your mind is where you focus. That's why when I started meditation class, I always calibrate you first. No, you got to go for calibration to adjust yourself first before you actually focus your mind. So I always ask you to put 2 fingers on your hand. And you may want to try this. Try this. Very, very simple test. I won't change you into a tiger or what. Now, just close your eyes. Now, your finger is on your hand. Now, feel your finger touching the hand. Feel your finger touching your hand. Feel your finger touching your hand. Now, feel your hand touching your finger. Feel your hand touching your finger. Feel your hand touching your finger. Now feel your finger touching your hand. Feel your finger touching your hand. Feel your hand touching your finger. Feel your hand touching your finger. Okay, slowly open your eyes. When I say feel your finger touching your hand, where do you focus? Finger or hand? How many of you say finger? And how many of you say hand? When I say feel your hand touching your finger, where is the focus of your mind? Hand or finger? How many of you say hand? And how many say finger? So the calibration is, when you feel your finger touching your hand, the feeling is at your finger, feeling the hand. But when your says change, hand touching the finger, your focus of mind now shift to the hand, feeling the touch of your finger. So easy, but so difficult. And this is how we calibrate our mind. Where is your mind? Your mind depends on where you focus. And at the same spot, you can move between one to the other. And that's how refined you can get yourself to. So therefore, calming the mind is very important to be able to have a training a philosophy, and eventually a conditioning, day by day. And one fine day, hopefully, when the mind is calm enough, and now watch the phenomena, like watching your breath, watching the object. And what do you see in that object? There was this little monk. He heard that this Zen temple is very famous. That Zen temple says the abbot is so good that he can make a person have sudden enlightenment. It's called Satori. You know, in Japanese you call it Satori. Satori means sudden enlightenment. So he said, I must go to this abbot and learn how to get sudden enlightenment. So he went to see the abbot. Abbot, I heard you very good. And I practice under you, I will get sudden enlightenment. The abbot said, yeah, true. Tomorrow morning when you come, go to that stream and sit beside the stream and watch the stream. And then come back in the evening and I will assess whether you are enlightened or not enlightened. So he, morning, very early morning, wakes up, energized, go to the beside the stream, sit there and watch the stream. Watch stream, water flowing, watch stream, water flowing. Then that evening he went to the abbot and said, Abbot, am I enlightened now? And the abbot says, what do you see? He told the abbot, I saw water flowing only. The water flowing from here to there, here to there. Then the abbot says, sorry lah, no? Tomorrow watch again. So tomorrow he will watch again, came back, same story. For 364 days he was watching the stream. And came back with still the same answer. And the abbot says, sorry, you are still not enlightened. Then this little monk says, this abbot, 有可能好小啊. So he said, I will give him one last chance. So tomorrow morning I'm going to watch the stream, and if I cannot, then I will spread the news, and this abbot 好小啊. So that morning he went, he watched the stream. And he was watching the stream, and the sun was shining. And he was watching and watching and watching. And he saw the water was flowing, and the sun was shining onto the water. And as the sun shines on the water, you know, water reflects. And as it reflects, it forms a set of patterns. And that pattern's like a set of diamonds, sparkling. And as the water moved, the pattern changed, and the pattern changed, and the pattern changed. And there was one particular pattern that, wait, this is the best. Before he could watch some more, the pattern changed. Satori. He got his enlightenment. He was watching the stream, and he was watching the set of pattern. And he realized the pattern was changing and changing and changing. And because it was changing, there was one particular set which he doesn't want it to change. It didn't. It continues changing. And he realized that if I'm attached to that changing or non-changing, and I want it to be permanent, I'm going to be disappointed. What did he see? Anicca, anatta, dukkha. He realized. And all phenomena from then day onwards, he knows that. And never there's a phenomena he sees, well, it's impermanent. One day shall change, so no need to get attached. Nothing for him to get attached. Kong, nothingness, anatta. There's nothing in this world that you should grasp, and nothing in this world that you should be attached to. And since there's nothing to attach, then why become disturbed by it? Why become unduly worried about it when it changes? Kong, that means there is nothing for you to be unhappy about. That is called enlightenment. I hope you are enlightened too.